Hey, this is Pastor Curry, pastor of the Eastside Fair Baptist Church, Wilmington's most exciting church, the church that love ya and ain't a thing you can do about it. Today with Coffee with Curry, listen, we're going to end this month right. I know many of you have been asking what's going on. Some people are leaving Delaware State as it relates to the basketball program with such a huge, successful year, but we have some answers for you. We're going to be able to bring in the one and the only, the living legend from the city of Wilmington, and that's Coach Stan Waterman. I'm looking forward to this interview that we're going to have together today. So why don't you call somebody real quickly? Tell them Coffee with Curry is on, and let's get after it.
Good morning, Delaware and surrounding areas. You are now tuned in to this week's Coffee with Curry. Join us every Sunday at 11 a.m. with new guests every week. So grab your cup of coffee and join us on Coffee with Curry.
And we're back. Well, as I promised you all, I have the living legend here, and many of you have been asking questions about why are some of the young people leaving Delaware State. We're going to get to that. But before I do that, first, well, again, welcome to the show, Coach.
Thank you, Pastor Curry. It's always an honor and a privilege to be in your presence. I appreciate it.
Boy, you were raised well. You're just the kindest guy in the country, but until you start coaching, and then you don't take no tea for the cold. Stan, before we get started today, I always want to start our show off because I love your family and your wife and your daughter and the grandson who likes to kick my chair the whole game, but he's getting better at it now that he's getting older. But how is the family doing?
Well, thank you for asking. Everybody is doing well. My wife, Robin, is doing very well. We're spending a lot of time as grandparents. We have him probably at least one day of every weekend.
Good.
And getting an opportunity to kind of watch him grow now. He's getting involved in sports, had his first basketball game this past weekend. He's playing t-ball. You name it, they have him involved, and we're happy to be able to support him.
You know, I often say, and for those who are watching us, when you put young children in sports, it helps to build their character. So this is just awesome. This is really awesome.
Well, thank you. The formula worked for us with Paris, with our daughter, and we're going to try to make sure that she emulates and follows what we did for her, and hopefully it'll work for him.
Wow, what a great opportunity he's going to having a grandfather and grandmother and a mother and a father, who certainly believe in character, one, and also in making sure that he's going to be given all the things that he needs to have. Well, you've been at Delaware State, I guess this is your fourth year?
Just finishing season number 3.
Season number 3.
Yep.
How is Delaware State treating you?
Delaware State has been great, Pastor. It's really been good. I am now really sort of settled in and comfortable learning the processes and getting to meet people. When I first started, we were in the midst of the pandemic,
right? And
they were still working virtually. So a lot of relationships were just that through screen. Mm-hmm. And now you've had a chance to meet people and get settled in and have people learn who I am and what I'm all about. And it's been good. It's been a lot of fun.
I, as a former employee at Delaware State, I know the culture of Delaware State, and to have as many faculty, administrators out to the games, it speaks to them feeling comfortable with you being the coach, because I've watched over the years how, when I was there, they kind of liked the coach as well, but then how over the years it kind of like dwindled out. Mm-hmm. But I sit behind people, some administrators, some faculty members who are just saying everything's about Stan. And I have to remind them that he's not one of us from the HBCU arena. And it's like, what are you talking about? But Stan, I think that I'm glad that you got a chance to meet the people at Delaware State, and you fit right in. You fit right in.
Well, that was my hope going in. I mean, I was expecting that, and it is nice, to come out once you step onto the floor and be able to look up in the stands before games start, and you see their faculty members there, their administrators there, the alumni is there, and just the community. That's one of the things I wanted to do as the head coach, win some basketball games, but also bring that feel and that sense of community back to where I knew it was once upon a time.
How does it feel having the president on the floor? He doesn't be coaching. Now, I give him credit. I can name a couple presidents who really act like they were the coach, but I mean, whether y'all down or up, he's just seems like he's motivating y'all to continue to struggle, to press forward.
He is, and he's supportive in every way. But from a game standpoint, his seats are directly across from the bench, so I can see him from time to time as the game's going on. But he's right there at halftime. Yeah. Guys are coming off the floor. He's high-fiving them at the end of the game, win or lose. He's there to either congratulate them or console them. There was a video I saw at the end of the MEAC tournament this year where we lost. And I didn't see it until days after the game. And it was very, very powerful.
Yes.
One of our young players who was really distraught that we lost the game, and in tears and really emotional. And there's President Allen right there with his arms around him, picking him up and encouraging him. And that's what it's all about.
And he wasn't looking for the camera. I saw that, and that touched me, because when the young brother was just distraught because he really wanted to win. And they played like they really, and they, in my opinion, they probably did win, but when you got 7 players against 5, this is what happens. But when I saw that, I was like, wow, he is really committed to the kids, and I think that's important.
He is. I mean, in word and in deed. I mean, he's there to support our guys. He'll stop through the locker room and communicate with our guys, send them text messages. And I don't know that happens at colleges and university, or how many colleges and university that happens at, but I can tell you it's happening at Delaware State.
Wow, that's awesome. You know, this is about my 3rd or 4th time interviewing you, and one of the things that hit me when I was preparing for today, I never asked you some personal questions like, what is your favorite sport? Now immediately people are going to say you should know that it's basketball, but in actuality it may not be. Yeah. So I really want to know, what is your favorite sport?
That's a good question. And if you would ask me from a participation standpoint, basketball.
Okay.
If you were to ask me from a spectator or as a fan, it's football.
Oh, wow.
I'm a big time football fan, Dallas Cowboy fan. Jesus. I know Philly folks not gonna believe that, I understand that. But growing up,
you just lost 10% of your community.
Growing up, Pastor Curry, we played everything: soccer, baseball, football, and even made up a few of our own games.
Yes.
So any sport that involved the ball or running around or competition, we were in it. Basketball just happened to be the one that I felt like I excelled at, and so I enjoyed that the most. But really, from a spectator, watching football on Sundays, and particularly the Cowboys, that's number one.
You keep saying that, but I'm gonna pray for you. My question then becomes, I don't know whether it could be football or basketball, but the player, the coach, or not the coach, but the player who you consider to be the greatest player of whatever sport it is, who would that person be?
Oh man, from a basketball standpoint, I'm gonna say Michael Jordan's the GOAT, the greatest of all time. I mean, my dad used to say that guy does more with a ball than a monkey can do with a peanut. Say stuff like that.
Oh wow!
But Jordan, it was just fantastic. Changed the game.
Yeah.
You know, for me, as somebody that I looked up to and aspired to be like. Here's a name that might catch you off guard: Tiny Nate Archibald. Tiny Nate Archibald was a Boston Celtic, ended up being a Boston Celtic player, but at one point was the only player to ever lead the NBA in scoring and assists in the same season.
Okay.
But because I was a short guy, I looked up to Tiny, his nickname, and he was my hero, but that's one.
Wow.
And Tiny's actually lived in New York forever and moved back to Delaware recently. Was one of the people that I met with when I took this job at Delaware State and had some advice. And so I was happy to get an opportunity to meet him through the late Teddy Blunt.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So now we now know what your favorite sport is, but most of all, well, I gotta ask this question because I'm not hating, but why Dallas Cowboys?
People ask me that question all the time. Like growing up in Delaware, so close to Philadelphia, how did you become a Cowboy fan? I told them, here's my answer. When I was growing up, CBS stood for Cowboys Broadcasting System. Those were the only games on. Like, I mean, they would have the Eagles on, but the Cowboys would always be on regardless of who they were playing. They had the best looking uniforms, those nice shiny silver uniforms with the star on the side of the helmet. But really, that was it. Now, I would say the same thing for basketball. I'm a Celtic fan, and I say, how do you like the Boston Celtics? Okay. And it comes down to the same thing. CBS showed Celtics broadcasters.
Yeah. Well, I can understand the Celtics though, because I kind of love them, even though I'm a Sixers fan for real. But I kind of was very good. How about college basketball? How about not basketball? But how about college sport? What would be your greatest team in college sports?
In college sports, I would say the dynasty of the UCLA basketball team, coached by John Wooden. Like as a coach growing up, I tried to read anything that Wooden put out. The Wizard, I mean, he was one of the greatest to win 9 or 10 national championships consecutively and going undefeated and producing some of the great players that he did. Had more mannerisms and phrases for you to coach by and live by. A man of God.
Yeah.
Actually, we were out, and this is a little bit of an aside. We went to at the NCAA Final Four. There's a John Wooden Christian breakfast that they have every year, and my wife and I participated in that. It was really cool.
Matter of fact, and thank you for leading me to that, because I was going to ask you this. You had an opportunity to go to the Final Four. Is this your first time going? Or
No. So in addition to the Final Four, the NABC, the Coaches Association, that's where we have our annual meeting.
Okay.
So there are conferences there for the entire weekend. So there are workshops. You get a chance to improve yourself as a coach and network a little bit. A lot of hiring and firing happens out there at the Final Four, in addition to the games. But it's always fun.
Yeah. Now, did you said you participated in some seminars and things of that nature, and is this a norm, or is this something you have to schedule to do?
You schedule, you sign up in advance. They have workshops going on for 3 or 4 days, and there you have the opportunity to sign up in advance, and or you can just drop in, provided there's room in a particular workshop if you want to do it. I want to add, Pastor Curry, if I could take a second. My wife, who has been going out to the Final Four with me for the last 3 years now, she started something, or become a part of something, help to establish something for coaches' wives. They've gotten together, they have a walk, they have a little Christian breakfast and dinner on that Friday before the games on Saturday. But wives from coaches all across the country come together.
I don't care what y'all touch, it make it go.
We try.
And that speaks to the presence of God in your life. And I'm not being turned this into a spiritual moment, but that's just awesome. I mean, she doesn't just sit back. She joins in, and something comes out of it.
She wants to get involved. And the wife of a coach, it's a tough one. And I'm learning, certainly at this level.
Yeah.
You spend so much time on the road, and even when you're home, you're occupied. Sometimes the phone never stops ringing, or you're sitting in front of the TV screen watching games and scouting. So I think a way for the wives and the spouses to connect and kind of be support for each other is really cool.
That's awesome, man. That's really awesome. And tell Robin congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And so we now move towards this season. Man, I mean, let me tell you, from the different articles that came out, Del State men's basketball, this team that hadn't even seen life for years, all of a sudden, I mean, being projected to be big and y'all fulfilled it. But tell me, how did you feel seeing the rise?
It felt good.
Okay.
It really did. One of the goals, again, right from the start, was to make Delaware State basketball relevant again. And we started off the season playing really well. We had some milestones and some achievements that happened. We winning 3 or 4 in a row, being in first place for the first 2 or 3 weeks of the conference, really competing and performing well. And just to see the enthusiasm, the energy, the momentum that was building behind the team and behind the program, and for the university as we headed into MEAC and conference play, it was a lot of fun, and it was exciting. It was rewarding because we worked hard, and I wanted the kids to see and experience the benefit of their hard work and their efforts.
Yeah, and something else I noticed with your whole system is that I've not seen a head coach, interact with his assistant coaches to the level I've watched. I mean, I don't come around you all, I don't have tea with you all or coffee, but I pay attention and I'm very attentive to details. Y'all have a very strong, y'all mash well. Can you tell me about your 4? I think it's 3 or 4.
We have 3 of them. I'm sorry, and it is. I love the way that we work together. And again, I think I told you the last time I was here, Pastor, that was critical. That was key for me as I tried to put together a staff. One, to find some guys that could fortify me and strengthen me in areas that maybe I had a weakness or they had a strength. Right. But more than anything else, it was, again, the relationships and the ability to communicate and the ability to be models for the young men. Like I said, number one, they're all good husbands.
Yes.
They're all good fathers.
Yes.
They're all good big brothers, role models, mentors. And it's something for our young men to see. I think it's important for them to see good fathers, good husbands, good brothers. And so to have that, and then to know a little bit of basketball on top of it, as each one of them
which is a rarity.
That ability, that's helpful. And one of the things I'm really, really grateful and appreciative for. So I try to give them input in everything that we do. Yeah. It's not one of those situations where it's a top-down kind of an organization. We work well together. We communicate on everything. I'll make the final call, but I get
Absolutely.
their input on everything before we move forward with
Yeah, and I watch that now. Because some people may be wondering, who are your coaches? So everybody hasn't had the chance to go down to, the, if you don't mind, like your number 2 person is who?
Yeah, so Shahid Perkins, who was with me at Sanford, we were together, and one of the things, I think the number 1 trait you got to have from your assistant coaches is loyalty.
Yes.
So I wanted to have somebody there that has my back. No matter what's happening, he's got my back. If he walks in the room and the conversation about me or our program is negative, he's going to put a stop to it or make sure it ends there, or at least correct it. Coach Owens, Horace Owens, is from Philadelphia and is a basketball legend in his own right, a McDonald's All-American, former NBA draft pick. I call Coach Horace Owens, he's the mayor, governor, not just of Delaware, but in this tri-state region. No matter where we go into a gym, people know him.
That's right.
And it's multi-generational. I'm talking grandfather, the father, and then the kid. They all know him and they all have great things to say. And he opens the door for us in terms of recruiting. It gives you opportunities to be able to meet with programs and meet young people. And then Coach Vernon Dupree, again, is my son-in-law. And I didn't even tell anybody he was my son-in-law until we were months into it, because I didn't want any claims of nepotism or anything like that. I wanted his work to speak for him. And he did that. I might have shared this the last time. We've nicknamed him MacGyver. For the folks who've been around and remember that TV show, that's a guy who does a little bit of everything. Like he builds a bomb out of a cardboard box.
Wow.
That's Vern. He can do everything.
Wow.
He schedules, he helps academically, coaching on the floor, keeping us organized. It's just a great team to have. And like I said, we get along really well and work well together.
Yeah, and we see that quite often. We're going to take a quick commercial break. And this is just the beginning. We still got some very relevant questions we're going to have to ask concerning some of the young men who are doing a phenomenal job on the court, but they may not be with us right now. But we got some answers for you. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Stan Waterman, head men's basketball coach at Delaware State University. Enjoying the opportunity to be here today with Dr. Curry, having an opportunity to speak about our program down at Delaware State University. Hopefully you had a chance to catch the show. Again, we've asked for supporters. Come on out, support us financially, friend raising, come on out to games. We just need your support in the stands. However you can do it, get behind us. We are looking to do big things in 23-24. Thank you.
How to know if you should reach out to a friend. Your friend might be
worried, sad,
grumpy, angry,
stressed, weird, rebellious,
anxious, antisocial,
lonely,
sleeping less,
sleeping more,
eating less,
eating more.
Look, there are a lot of things to watch out for, but you know your friend best. So if they're not acting themselves, why not say something? Find out how you can help a friend with their mental health at seizetheawkward.org. Awkward.
And we're back. What a great conversation I'm having with Coach Waterman. I'm just excited when he comes because he brings such a positive energy. But not only that, he has a sense, what I consider to be a realism. And he understands the fundamental of coaching. Some people believe the only way you can coach is that you beat up children real bad and then they're going to listen to what you say. But he has an aura where people follow him. These young people follow him because of what you just shared at the end of the last segment. They see a man, they see a husband, they see a grandfather, they see a person who's genuinely concerned about them. And it seems like they work for you. I watched it carefully. They work for you. Even when they weren't happy because it's time to come out of the game, they work for you. But as we were talking just a second ago before the commercial break, y'all had a very good season. I mean, last time you were here, we said you tripled because you won 3 games.
Right.
How did we do this year?
Oh man, what an amazing turnaround for us. Again, as you mentioned, my first season we won 2 games. We tripled that win total the second season with 6 games. And this year we win 15, 16 games. We advanced to the MEAC championship where we passed 3 minutes away from a trip to the NCAA tournament. I mean, that is a huge leap in terms of our performance on the floor. I talk about that, but I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the stuff that the guys are doing in the classroom as well.
Yes.
Once again, our team, the men's basketball team, received the recognition award for having the highest GPA of all of the men's athletic teams at Delaware State. Of our 14 guys on the roster. 12 of them received some sort of academic acknowledgement. We had 4 guys who were presidential scholars with a 4.0.
Wow.
We had another 5 guys who were on the dean's list. That's between a 3.5 and a 3.9. And then we had 3 other guys who were just what we called academic honors, and that was 3.0 or better.
You know, whatever happened to the real old-time athletes where it's thank you, Lord, that I can stay in college? I mean, we're talking about presidential scholars here. We're talking about people who are just academically strong and can play.
Yeah, well, it was a challenge. And see, I believe, athletics is a real parallel for life. The same discipline, the same work ethic, the same attitude, same commitment that it takes to be successful on the court. You carry that over into whatever it is you're doing in your endeavors. If it's in the classroom, if it's on your job, if it's in your relationships, then you'll be successful. And so we try to instill that in our guys. They bought in, they work hard. Again, that was one of the charges. We wanted to improve the academic profile, and we had a lot of success this year. We didn't win the MEAC championship. We got to the championship. Next year, that's a goal.
That's a goal?
That's a goal.
Well, something President Allen said while here at E-Zion Fair, you and your wife were present as well. He said, you were the greatest hire. And I had to ask him, because, when you make comments around me, I want to know, I'm a scholar. So tell me, are you just saying it for the political reasons? And Tony's answer, or Dr. Allen's answer, was really great. He said what you just shared. He said, we could have hired somebody to win games. We could have hired somebody to improve academics. We could have hired somebody who will get the kids motivated. But we could have never hired anybody to do all of that in one person. Wow. Stan is that person.
Wow. I was blown away to be in your sanctuary and have him make that comment, and I've heard him say it on a couple of occasions now. And of course, you're really proud to hear that and know that the person that hired you believes that and willing to publicly state that. So that's a lot of weight and a lot of responsibility, but it's one that I take very seriously. I'm committed to, and being so grateful and thankful for the opportunity. I'm gonna do everything in my power to make sure that we accomplish all of those things that he's talked about.
And for those of you who are watching, many of you already know Coach Waterman. You know him from years as a coach at Stanford. But one of the things I learned early when I heard about Coach Waterman before I met him is that even though he taught and was the dean of students, I believe, and the coach at Stanford, he would always open up opportunities for children who didn't have Stanford money to get in, to matriculate, and to get a chance to do what is right. While you may say that it's a great challenge for you, it's who you are. Some people will probably go crazy trying to be that, but when you are that, it becomes, it's not a challenge for real. It's like you're getting paid to do something you do naturally.
Well, it's a little easier to do when it's natural and it's authentic and it's genuine and it's who you are. I mean, it's still hard work, but it's easy for me to be me. Yeah. I'm not trying to be or do anything that I'm not. I just do what I do, and what I've always done has worked for me. And I don't see any reason to deviate from that.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, you're enjoying your job so much. I was thinking that maybe you should just give me your salary and you just keep doing what you do.
I'll trade places with you.
No, that's all right. I love my E-Zion Fair. The salary-wise, I probably do better with you taking yours, but we'll talk about that later on. So we had a great year on and off the court. We had a great year. At one point, people had lost hope. I had to come on one of my shows, and because I heard some critics, you always got one. I mean, you got 9 people love you, but you got one who want to talk loud, you know. And I had to, fight for you, because that's how I do.
Well, I appreciate it.
And I didn't even tell you. I just said, you know what? I'm going to handle this one. And when we saw all the things that occurred, how you were slowly and incrementally doing things, we just shared it with the people. When they said that you were projected to be the coach of the year, when they said that your team was projected to be people couldn't see it. Now, Kobe, who co-hosts on one of my shows, he said the only problem they're going to have is no folk. And I said, I don't know. I think they're gonna. And when we got to the championship, when y'all played them, the first time y'all beat them, didn't you?
No, we beat them the second time.
The second time.
Place, yeah.
Okay.
So the first time we went down to Norfolk, which you know how crazy that is. It's a tough place to play, and it was a game that came down to the last possession. But again, just competing the way we did, we knew that we were right there, and we're looking forward to the opportunity to get them back. So when they came to Dover, we played perhaps our best game of the year. And we put it on them. Sorry, Coach, I had to say it.
Well, you listen. It was so good until I think people were just like, "Wow, this is." I've never seen Del State play that well. It was like everything worked in the Lord's favor was just there.
Yeah.
He said, "It won't come down at our house. They're gonna come down to the last shot. It's going to be known decisively that we won."
Exactly.
Yes,
from start to finish.
Yes, and that's exactly how it ended up too. So. Let's talk about that championship game because I'm sitting out of town. I was watching it though, but I was out of town, and I'm on my edge of my seat, and I'm saying, "We got it. We don't have it. We got it." Tell me your feelings towards that game.
Well, the excitement leading up to that game was just incredible.
Yeah.
Just the feeling and the excitement to say that we've come this far, really in a short time.
Yes.
To get to this point. In my mind, I was thinking, we'll get to the championship game. I don't know if anybody else, other than the guys who were in the gym working, believed that. But just to get to that game, there was just so much excitement, enthusiasm around it. I think the difference in that game, you had Howard, who won the MEAC the year before, with just a bit more experience. Like I said, it came down to like 2 or 3 minutes away from being there. And I think at the end, they got the stop that they needed. They hit the shot that they needed, whereas it didn't go that way for us down the stretch. But those will be experiences that we'll draw on next year. But man, it was so great that people were so complimentary of the program and the improvements that we made, to look in the stands and see how well Del State University traveled. We were represented.
I don't think people think you're all going to win that Thursday night game. I don't think some people really thought y'all were going to win that game. But when you won it, I was like, I need to get back home.
Man, I had some alums. People were saying stuff. Man, just get us past the first round. We want to stay at the tournament at least past the first day. So we win the first round, and we win the second round, and now win the championship. And again, now the phone's ringing. Can you get me tickets? Can I get there? For folks who weren't there. So again, it was just a lot of excitement. Again, another growth opportunity for us, and something to help us set the bar and expectations for the future.
You had an opportunity to show and highlight these young people. You had an opportunity to show their skills. And then all of a sudden, there's a term that I'm gonna need your help on, because there are those who are watching, because most people don't understand all the things that goes on in basketball. Some will say, "Hey, why are they leaving him?" Let's set the record straight. And I'm gonna say this is not Coach Waterman, so if I'm wrong, then this is a Curry what I'm talking about. No one is leaving because they don't like you. No one is leaving because he's not a heck of a coach. If I wasn't a pastor, I would use the word hell of a coach. But I can't say that because y'all church folk will get me in trouble. But there's a few young people are leaving, some of your starters. They've been exposed. People saw this talent that your eye saw before, when it was raw, when it wasn't acknowledged.
Right.
And that speaks to a good coach, by the way. What is this? I think it's N.I.L. N.I.L. What is that all about?
The N.I.L., and man, has it changed the landscape in the whole game of college basketball, college athletics, actually. When you think about old school NCAA, college athletics, basketball, football, it didn't matter. It was amateurism at its finest. Like, you couldn't be paid for it. Today, and within recent years, the Supreme Court and the NCAA now passed legislation where collegiate athletes using the NIL, name, image, and likeness, can receive compensation, for the use of their name, image, and likeness. And so that's what's happening now. You're beginning to see, and I'll go back to a point you were making, Pastor Curry, at the end of this year, having so much success and really only had one senior. I'm thinking we're bringing this whole team back next year to grow and be stronger. And then right at the end of the season, right now we've got 5 players from this team who have entered the transfer portal, which means they can leave and seek opportunities at other colleges or universities without having to sit out. That was the other thing. In the past, if you transferred, you had to sit a whole calendar year.
Yeah.
Now they can transfer and be eligible to play immediately. And I'll say this, I'll share this. It happened so quickly for us. Again, we participated, we played in the MEAC championship. And for the first time, we were invited to play in postseason play for Delaware State in a while. And we went down to Daytona Beach and participated in the CBI. And that was, again, another bonus, something that just hadn't happened. The day we got back, I started to get notification about the guys entering the transfer portal. And I took it personally initially. I thought, man, am I doing something wrong? What are we leaving on the table? What is it that they are unhappy with our program? And I reached out to colleagues, mentors, everybody else, and then found that this is happening all across the country. Yeah. It's not just Delaware State, it's every university. Players are leaving because they have the opportunity to be compensated. And Delaware State, where we are, and I'm hoping that we can do something to change this, but we are now sort of a springboard where guys will come in and, as you said, have an opportunity to get some exposure, be seen by some of these big teams that we're playing early on, have a little success, and then get an invitation to move on.
Wow.
And they have. Let me say this, though, about the NIL. One thing I did learn, as I said, I took it personally in the beginning until I did a little bit of research and figured out what the trend was and what was happening across the country. We've learned that NIL and that transfer portal door swings both ways.
Okay.
So the opportunity for folks to leave is an opportunity for folks to come in as well. But we've got some work to do.
Okay.
Because there's something that they're chasing.
Okay.
That the almighty dollar.
Right.
And the bag is.
And we don't want to really demonize the young people, because at the end of the day, some of them really need this. Some of their parents need this. So I felt bad. You know, you said you took it personal. I was angry. I was like, no way in the world. I mean, I'll never forget the Norfolk game. I was so tired when I got to the game because I had worked all day long, but I wanted to be there because I was in love with the team. I was in love with, what you all were doing. And then to hear that some of the young people were transferring out, I was angry. I was really angry because I felt like, no, that's not the way it's supposed to be.
Right.
I know it had nothing to do with you, because who would want to leave Stan? That's why Robin is still with you all these years, because who would leave Stan? But when we heard it and then we start understanding, I was one of the ones who advocated for us. We allow these young people to hurt themselves, and then their whole life is ruined, and they never got anything. So when they start talking about, some compensation, I thought it was good, but it's always that piece where the smaller schools will not get their slice of the pie.
Exactly.
And that's the part. Where's the equity? I will hope that at some point someone will be able to start talking about the equity, where you can't do this or you can't do that to help neutralize the game, because Del State ain't got the money Duke has.
Well, I don't know if they'll ever be able to level the playing field. You're going to always have the haves and the have-nots. And the reality of it is, what I've come to with this NIL and this whole transfer portal thing is, we could probably expect to lose 5 guys every year.
Okay. If
we have any kind of success, somebody above us is going to come in and poach our 2 best players.
Yeah.
That happened this year.
Yeah.
We'll always have maybe your number 14 and 15 guys sitting at the end of the bench, not happy with their playing time, and they're going to want to leave. Okay. Like we have a young man who's actually going down to play Division II because he wants to play more.
Okay.
And I understand that. So you got that situation. And then if you're a coach that's worth your weight in salt, then you got to always plan for the unexpected.
Right.
And we had one of those. So we have 5 guys right now in the portal. And I'm thinking that this is going to become commonplace, that it's going to happen every year. It's not just us. Like I said, I look at somebody in our league, like I'll give you University of Maryland Eastern Shore, for example. They have 9 guys. He's got to replace a whole roster.
Oh, wow.
They got 9 guys in the portal. So it's become a thing. It's a thing that we are going to have to learn how to navigate. That we're going to have to do a whole lot of fundraising to try to catch up. But I don't know if we'll ever level the playing field. I was joking. I said to Robin, we were talking about it, and she said, well, how do you balance that? And I said, we still talk about our 40 acres and our mule. They can give us that now, and you won't catch up because they're on tractors.
There you go. Right. Who want the mule now?
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
That's awesome, and that good analogy. I was trying to make sense of it, but you just made sense of it, so it doesn't really matter. So we had a great year. We had some players, 5 as of right now, who are moving on. I love your energy because you don't feel no ways tired. You feel like, okay, this is another challenge. Just like you brought Del State from where it was, it just means you got to keep working. Is that how you're feeling?
That's how we feel, and we got right to work. And again, let me say this, Pastor, and I appreciate all the acknowledgement and the accolades, but it really isn't about me. It's that program and what we're trying to do. I'm leading it and at the head of it. But yeah, we got right to work and start figuring out how do we replace those guys that have gone. And so we have 4 commitments already.
Yes.
We have 4 verbal commitments of guys that will be coming in to help us to fortify our roster and try to keep this thing
Are they
going.
going to be? A coach who understands talent, do you feel comfortable with the 4 or 3 or 2 that will be able to continue your system the way the group guys who left was able to fight for you?
The difference is the familiarity, right?
Okay.
Like a known commodity, the bird in the hand versus 2 in the bush. The guys that we had, obviously, I got a chance to know them, and they knew me, and now they know the system. So we would be that much further along next year. Now we're bringing in new guys again that we've got to condition and indoctrinate, so to speak, and get them up to speed. But if we can get them up to speed this summer and have them going, I believe there's potential for us to be even better.
Okay.
So that's my goal. That's my hope. That's the challenge. And I believe we'll get it done.
All right. You don't say much that doesn't happen. I mean, the God that's over your life is really, really smiling upon you. But you made a comment, and I want to correct it, because all too often when people such as yourselves who really are not seeking praise, you all are quick to say, Pastor Curry or whoever you're interviewing you, it's not about me. But if they were doing poorly, it would be. So it's about the head. Whatever the head, if the head is crazy, the body is crazy. So because the head is sound, you have a sound team. So I hear you, and I understand, I agree that you don't want everything to be about you, but let you not be there.
I appreciate that.
And so you'll see that it was about your leadership and your skills. So we really appreciate it. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to talk about what's to come for Delaware State University men's basketball. We'll be right back.
Join us for an evening of unity and support. Come out to the Congo Legacy Center on Thursday, May 2nd from 6 to 8 p.m. and rally behind Sherry Dorsey Walker, candidate for Lieutenant Governor. This fundraiser, hosted by family and friends of Sherry Dorsey Walker, promises an inspiring evening as we rise to unify. Tickets are $100. Please don't miss this opportunity to show your support and be a part of the movement. See you there.
And we're back. Well, every time Coach Stan come, he was brought up well. He always bring a gift, and that's why we keep inviting him back because we get a chance to get some of this good N.I.L, not the stuff but some of the stuff they threw up out in the stands. I caught one. It's a good shirt too, but that's some good stuff, some good dry fit stuff, and I appreciate that so very much for bringing that by. And I will wear this. But now we're at Del State. Almost took MEAC championship. A couple of young people had to move on because they wanted to do other things. You got some coming in. Tell me what's to come with Delaware State men's basketball program now.
Well, hopefully we continue on this trajectory where we improve every year and get a little bit better. And again, getting to the MEAC championship, for me, the next step would be winning the MEAC and getting to the NCAA tournament. And we do that, like we can't wait until, the start of the season by the calendar in October, November. Like, we get started right away. So we had our postseason workouts. Guys are back in the weight room, doing some conditioning and doing a little bodybuilding. We will come back for what we call summer access. We'll have them for 6 to 8 weeks this summer on campus, taking a course, but doing a lot of skill work, doing some strength and conditioning, and preparing for what will be another challenging season. We will challenge ourselves with our schedule. We'll play some really competitive non-conference games to get us ready for the MEAC and continue to build our fan base and try to work on solving this whole NIL issue matter. Get folks to come on and contribute and support us and donate and help us in that regard.
Yeah, and all of you who are out there, who got some pockets, if you give some money directly to the men's basketball program, it can help them maintain, because to counter is even better. So if we can keep what we got by countering what somebody else is offering, that would be a great opportunity. So I do want to put that plug in for you right now. And one of the things I do want to say while we're on the air, Zion Fair has not done anything specific for the men's basketball program. You are a son of this church. You years and years and years and years ago, your whole family have been come through here. And I think we need to sit down at some point and talk about financially, how can Zion Fair show its support? I've always been a basketball fan, and I've always been a Delaware State fan. Yep. And we give scholarship money to Delaware State and send our children there as well, but directly to the men's program. So we need to figure that out so that when we come back, we can announce something the next time you come back and see us, that this is what we're doing as a church here in Wilmington. People name buildings after you, or not buildings yet, but they're going to be doing it soon. They do certain things, but sometimes the tangible living thing is what helps you continue the legacy that you're building. So that's something I'm going to commit to. So by the time you come back, we will certainly had a good conversation to say how much we can commit as an organization, as a church, to be able to support your men's program. I'm just thoroughly committed, and I've never called you and said, "Stan, could you get me a ticket?" Right. I've never, because that's not who I am. No. I'm a supporter.
You're a season ticket holder.
That's right, and I have my 2 seats, even though it was only but my daughter always, because we travel together most of the time, but she's not with me now. But I try not to ever be a smooch. I want to be a giver, and as you just made that comment about, people, if you want to help with this whole situation, you got to contribute. So that's something that's going to be a challenge for me, to show you that we are committed to you, your Wilmington family, your folks from down here, that we are very committed to your program and to your success as well.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it, Pastor. I always say you, one of the people who've been supporting and having my back and promoting and marketing our program and our university from day one. And I don't take that lightly and don't ever take that for granted. And it's a special bonus to be able to look up and see you in the stands, because I know I got some spiritual support on the side, maybe a little divine intervention. You can never get enough prayer, but financially, if people can support and donate us in that regard, that would be great. And that's one thing, but just to get involved in the program, you said season ticket holders, buy your tickets.
Yes.
Come on down and support us and catch a game or two. The atmosphere, the environment is unbelievable.
That's right.
It is exactly what I hoped it would be. We had a couple of sellouts this year. The students are now having lotteries to get tickets to get into the game. It's exciting. Yes. It's a lot of fun, but that support is certainly appreciated. And I want to thank you and thank Zion Fair for always being there.
Yes. Now, with the team that we got coming in, your coaches are still there. They didn't get no big time jobs.
They didn't get any.
I was praying for that. I was like, Lord, let me have 5 years with what he has before any of that happens. But you got some people coming in. You have some people returning. Is Perkins still? Is he going to still be with you?
He will be with us. He ended up redshirting this year. Broke his hand in game number 3 or 4, the University of Delaware game. And never really got cleared to return to the court. He's actually back in the gym now, lifting. Finally got the cast off, and we'll look forward to having him back. Of course, his dad is on the staff as one of the assistant coaches, so again, some continuity there.
Yeah, that's good. And I'm trying to think. It was one other person. The gentleman with the dreads, I didn't know his name. I think he was a forward.
There were 2. So we had one, it was Ray Somerville, the 6'10", 6'11" young man from Philadelphia, from Media, actually. He's from Media, Pennsylvania. He'll be back.
Okay.
He will actually graduate in a couple of weeks, but he'll return as a grad student, so he'll have another year of eligibility. Wesley Oba, the young man from England, who became a fan favorite, was the surprise that entered the transfer portal. And his situation's different. International student. He graduates in May, maybe even a chance to go back to England and play professionally. His circumstances are a little bit different. I would say understandable.
Understood.
I still don't understand. I said it, but I don't really understand.
You don't want to accept that.
Exactly.
I got you. Did you have any moments this year that you consider to be challenging for you? I mean, when I say challenging, I mean hard moments for this year.
Yeah, there were a few, and a couple of points. You know, in the season, you have ebbs and flows, you have peaks and valleys, and early on, we had gotten on a 3-game winning streak, and, you know, it was being promoted everywhere. The first time you won 3 games in a row in however many years, we were getting pats on the back. And then shortly after that came a little losing streak.
Right.
And those same folks who were patting you on the back and cheering you on were now whispering about same old Delaware State. And that was tough.
Yeah.
But then we picked it up. We came back with another 4-game winning streak. So I think the toughest part, the most difficult part for me is I like to be on an incline, or at least even keel. I don't like the peaks and valleys. I want to become where we're playing consistently all the time, and that was maybe just the toughest challenge, just to get some level of consistency in our performance, in our preparation, in everything that we did.
Okay, and I wouldn't ask you who was your favorite player, because that would be inappropriate being a coach. I want nobody to see this and then get on you, but of accomplishment.
Yes.
Of your players, who you saw the greatest growth in, who would you consider?
There's a young man, and there's no secret, because I've been asked that question a few times. There's a young man, Martez Robinson, from Baltimore, Maryland. Mm-hmm. And Martez will be returning next year in will be his 5th year, but he has a year of eligibility because of COVID. And Martez was a young man who was there before I got there. Mm-hmm. So we had to make that decision to keep him. And the growth in this young man, Professor Curry, as a player, as a young man, and most importantly, as a student, is exponential. He's gone from where he was to now he's responsible, accountable,
excellent,
consistent, reliable. I mean, I could throw it on and on and on, but to watch the growth and the maturity in that young man, and he's turned into a leader for us. His name has been associated with the transfer portal. I'm keeping my fingers crossed, because there's a deadline. They have until May 1st to enter. Okay. So we may have 1 or 2 more. I'm hoping and praying that it doesn't happen. And Martez is one of the ones that I know folks are knocking on his door. Okay. Even the opportunity for him to go to Europe and play professionally is out there. But to get back to your question, that young man has grown and matured, and I'm just super proud of the work that he's done and the work that we've done with him.
Yeah. How does it feel being really like a hometown hero? I know you don't see it that way, but how does it feel to hear the accolades and the cheers of you? You're right from the East Side. I think that's the East Side. Yeah. East Side, and you're one of us, but God has blessed you to a level that is really where he can be glorified, because you always make sure he's on the platform. Absolutely. But how does that feel?
It's a great feeling. Obviously favor. I feel like favor is there, but just being a native Delawarean, born and raised, is a bonus to be able to work in a community where people have known you and have known you since you were a youngster. I'll tell you the quick story. Just this week, I get on the social media, Facebook, I can't even remember which one it is. Out and About, the magazine, is doing a little story about the YMCA and the history of the YMCA, the Walnut Street YMCA and Central YMCA on Washington Street. And they have there's a photo that pops up. It's a picture of me as like an 8-year-old.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know it. I just happened to get online, picked up my phone, and we laughed. We've been laughing all week about this photo. But again, just going back to the roots, being in the community, being a part of the East Side of Wilmington, going to Howard High School, staying here in Delaware and playing at the University of Delaware, and now coming full circle and being a coach down in Dover at Delaware State. To be able to fulfill my dream of being a college coach and not have to uproot my family and move away from home. I mean, like I said, God is great. And I know I'm blessed, and I count my blessings every day and thankful for it.
Yeah, a lot of people are asking this question in their head. They say, Curry, please ask this question. I can feel it. You don't have to answer it, though. Do you believe you'll retire from Delaware State?
I hope so. I really hope so.
That's
Again,
good.
One of the reasons I considered the opportunity was my family's here. I have 6 siblings, mom and dad, everybody's still here.
Yes.
And we're close-knit and we're tight. Same thing, my wife's family, we're all here in Delaware, and so we're family people. And I try to run the program like a family. And now Del State has become a part of my family. Right. I was at Sanford for 29, 30 years, never thought of doing anything different. That had become my family. And so I'm consistent and loyal in that regard. And so my hope is that that would be a relationship that I can carry into retirement.
Yeah. So if Duke sent a $3 million contract, you're going to say, no, I'm family.
Yeah, hey, family with some business. Family with some business tied to it.
Well, Coach, it has been a true, pure pleasure having you with us today.
Pleasure.
I knew that there was some grumbling going on. Why would he leave? Why are people leaving him? But you certainly answered that clearly. No one is leaving because of their disgruntled. They're really leaving because of opportunities that are presenting itself. And I believe in putting that out there so everybody can hear it, everybody can see it. You all did a phenomenal job this year.
Thank you.
And I just want to make sure we stay on that level. Anything negative, we want to try to squash it with the truth.
Right.
Because that's how I believe in squashing
yep.
it. And the truth is that you got young people who really care and love you as their coach, father figure in most cases. Sometimes it's a friend, just somebody who's there for them. You got a great support system at Delaware State from the president on down. And your fan base is strong because I see people. I meant to say this to you last time. I go to the games, and I know I'm known at Delaware State by a lot of the students, especially some of the alum, because I was there for 5 strong years. But I see people who I have not seen in years. Yeah. And they're basketball players, and they know who you are very well. Right. And some of them have played for you, and I did not know.
Yeah.
My dentist, I think I told you about this. Ekman.
Phil Ekman.
He was doing my in my mouth, and he was like, "What church did you say?" I said, "East Iron Fair." He said, "Oh," and then I said, "But I got to get to a game." And he said, "You got to get to a game." I said, "What game you got to get to?" I said, "Del State." He said, "Oh yeah, my son played both his sons."
Yep.
He had 2 sons.
He had 2 sons.
Didn't know it.
Yep.
And so I'm kind of glad you are a good guy, because I would hate for him to have to, cut my gum or something you did him wrong. Yeah. But he just really praised you, and he told me he was going to come to one of the games and be my guest to surprise you. We didn't get a chance to do that, but I guarantee you next year we're going to make sure that happens.
I appreciate that. Yeah. That's Dr. Randy Ekman, and he was an unbelievable supporter. Again, had the opportunity to coach both his sons. To your point, and I think the opportunity for the community to reconnect.
Yeah.
There were a lot of people coming back who had said they've been away for whatever reason. They stopped coming to the games, or that might be it, and they didn't support the program. But now they're coming back, and we want to continue to bring people back. So, well, Coach, thank you again. Now, is there anything you would like to share with some young person who just really need a word of encouragement? That's interesting. Well, I'll say this, and I'm not just saying this because I'm on the show with Pastor here, but put God first. Yes. Keep God first, and your spiritual guidance, and then everything else will fall into place. And when you hear him say that, he's right. He's not saying it because he's sitting on the set of or in a church or whatever. From his marriage to his children, his daughter rather, and on, it is a reflection of that. And you are in church. You're not. He don't show up and just say, to God be the glory, just to say it. But he's an active part of ministry. And I think this is what we really need to be focusing on. And thank you for helping some young person to realize that it's not about the latest sneaks. It's not about the latest, fake fashion, but it's really about putting something in your head that is stronger than even book knowledge. That is God. Absolutely. So I really appreciate that, Coach. Is there anything else you got for today? No, thank you again. I appreciate the opportunity. Anytime I can have a chance to promote and market and tell our story. Yes. As you said, that's the only way to counterbalance some negativity is with truth and positivity, and that's what we're all about. So I look forward to hopefully being back again. You will be back. Continue to tell us what's happening. Win or lose, you will be back. Well, thank you. Because one of the things I learned is that we're going to put a positive spin on it anyway. I appreciate it. Because at the end of the day, you have done a phenomenal job. Well, for those of you who've been watching us today, this has been a great opportunity for us to really get a chance to hear from the coach what has gone on as it relates to the name, how do you say it? The name, image, and likeness. Name, image, and likeness. Got a chance to understand that, some young people, they move on, and that's what's going to happen. It's going to continue to happen. But Delaware State will not suffer because we're going to bring in some new folks, and we're going to get it going just like you got it going the last time. We're going to be right back. God bless. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Marcus Henry, and I'm running for Newcastle County Executive. I spent over 20 years working in state and local government, trying to bring the good programs and services you deserve here in Newcastle County. Please support my campaign. Please look us up at marcushenrybe.com for further information. I look forward to meeting you all over the next year, and I look forward to your support. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Eugene Young. I'm incredibly thankful to be here. I am a candidate for U.S. Congress, and I believe when it comes to Congress, it comes to service. One of my favorite lines about service is you can't lead without loving, you can't save without service. So what's the depth of your love, and what's the quality of your service? So this aspect of love and service is what brings me here before you today, and wanting to take that and extend that into Congress as we move forward. I look at my last 20 years of serving the community, and I look forward to having another 20 and being able to find more ways to even better serve the community, which has given me so much. So please feel free to join us at eugeneyoung.com. That's EUGENEYOUNG.com. That's eugeneyoung.com. If you're interested in volunteering or donating, it could be $5 a month, it could be $100 a month, it could just be a standard donation of $10. We appreciate it all. Thank you so very much, and wishing you a wonderful, beautiful day.
And we're back. What a great show today. I hope and trust that you all got some information. I've heard from you, and that's why I asked Coach Waterman if he'll come and be on the show. I knew what was going on, but to hear it from the coach is very much important. They had a huge year. It was a huge year. I mean, I was out of town, as I shared while we were talking, and when I saw that they won that game before the championship game, I was trying to find a flight to get back. I wanted to get down to Virginia to be able to be a part of that game, because I had a feeling that they were just going to take it all the way, because this is how Stan does it. I mean, this is how he do it. I mean, he takes on the characteristics of Jesus. Okay, you know, he knows how to make a way out of no way. and I watched it, and I'm very impressed with it. I'm excited. I hope you will get excited. The season is coming. Once I announce what we're going to do as a church to support, I hope some of you will join in and do your own personal things, because we want to make sure we keep Wilmington East Side very strong when we have one of our hometown heroes who's leading the pack. They love him down there at Delaware State. It is a very positive environment. If you want to come to any of the games, you come on in, because let me tell you, the rivalry is just unbelievable. It's better than it was even in the past. And I was a part of a successful program when years ago under Coach Jackson. But here, it's just another whole atmosphere. So I hope and trust that you really enjoyed the show today. Until the next time we get together, may the Lord God bless you real good.
Thank you for watching this episode of Coffee with Curry. Tune in next week, Sunday at 11 a.m.